goodness, hello. Come on in. Just right in the middle of baking some biscuits. I'm gonna take a load off for a second. Welcome to my house. Well, it's not really my house. I'm Ginny Wade. Mary Virginia Wade was my whole name, but some people call me Ginny, some people call me Jen, some people call me Jenny. In fact, the house outside today, if you went today, says Ginny Wade. But it's not my house, it's my sister's house, so welcome to my sister's house. Her name is Georgia. Her husband is off fighting. My boyfriend is off fighting. Such a handsome fellow right there. I keep his little picture with me in my pocket at all times. Just such a handsome guy. So Georgia's husband is off fighting, and my fiance, my future husband, is off fighting. And so it's Civil War time, Battle of Gettysburg, right in our little town of Gettysburg. The soldiers are shooting right outside our house. In fact, our house already has several bullet holes in the house. So we are right in the middle of the war zone. The Confederates are about 2 blocks away, and the Union soldiers are using the back of our house as a shield. And so our house has been shot many times. There are many wounded that are outside, and I've been busy baking bread, as you can see. Just baking loaves and loaves of biscuits and bread to feed the Union soldiers, because of course we support them and we want them to win this battle. Most Civil War battles last about a day, and so we thought we were going to be okay, but this is day 2 now. So anyway, just like I said, baking some bread and some biscuits. I was at our other house. We have a different house. I was at my actual house. My mom's been here at Georgia's house for 5 days, because Georgia had a baby 5 days ago, little baby Kenneth. And so she needed my mom's help. So the battle got really close to our house. And so I ran my brother down to this house. I carried him, and we just ran down to this house. And so that we'd all be together. And then it turns out the battle came right to this house. So in the beginning, when I thought about, oh, let's run down there, let's run over and we'll be safer there, that didn't turn out to work very good for myself, actually. My family will stay safe, but I will not stay safe. So like I said, day 2, I'm baking, and last night I ran some, in the middle of the night I heard some crying and some people begging for water, and so I took some water out. I took my water pictures out and filled up their canteens for the soldiers, because sometimes that can make all the difference, just some water. So then I took some biscuits out when it turned night. My family thought I was crazy because they thought I was going to get shot, which was very real, could have happened, and it's going to happen. So at night, last night, I took out tons of supplies that I could take out, and then today we've just been, or yesterday, so if we fast forward to day 3, I was reading some scriptures yesterday about death and dying and all kinds of things from the Bible, and my sister told on me, Mom, make her stop, it's all doom and gloom. And so Mom told me to stop, even though I'm 20 now and I'm a grown adult. This lovely picture that is right here of me was taken 2 years ago. It's the only picture that I have of me. It's when I was 18 years old. So anyway, I shut the Bible and I said, well, because they're shooting all around us. There's holes in our house to prove it to this day. I said, it's okay, I don't know if it's working. I said, fine, but if somebody's going to die, that somebody is going to be me, because of course Georgia just had a baby, and she needs to be the baby. She needs to be the mom. Of course, I didn't want anything to happen to my brother or my mother. And so I just shut the Bible and I said, well, if anything happens, if anybody dies today, I hope it's going to be me. And those words were recorded in Georgia's journal later. And then the next day, my mom and I were in the kitchen, and well, here's a funny story. The day before, on day 2 of the 3-day Battle of Gettysburg, on day 2, a mortar came into our house, and it just sat there and it didn't explode. How lucky is this? We were so lucky. But I fainted. I fell and I dropped to the ground and I fainted. And so my mom already knew I was kind of fragile like that, but not fragile enough to not be brave, because I was brave when I took all the food and water out onto the battlefield. So anyway, let's fast forward to day three. Day three, I run up to take the biscuits. I run up to change the biscuits out of the oven and put a new batch in. And my mom's standing next to me, and a shot comes right through our front door and right through another door, the pantry door. And my mom had put that there for a shield for me, and it just didn't turn out to be a very good shield. I was shot in the left shoulder, and it went straight into my heart, and I died instantly. So there was no pain. And if you ask people that live in the house today or that work in the house today, because it's a museum, they will tell you that I visit there often. And when I'm visiting there to make my bread or to just to hang out for a little while at George's house, they can smell my rose water perfume, that I like to put on. That's how they know when I'm there, or when they smell the bread baking, they'll know that I'm there. So I dropped right to the floor. I forgot that part. I dropped right to the floor, and my mom thought I had just fainted again. And she came over and tried to get me to wake up. And of course, then she realized how bad the danger was. And she yelled to my sister that I had been shot. And Georgia started screaming, and there were 2 Union soldiers outside. The 2 Union soldiers rushed in to help protect my little family. They knew that I'd been baking bread for them, and that I was basically serving as a helper in the Civil War. And so my mother asked for them to carry me down to the cellar, which was hard because we had to get to the cellar. We had to break a hole through the wall, climb all of us through the wall of the house, and then down into the cellar, because we couldn't approach the cellar from the outside. So the soldiers were kind enough to batter a hole in our wall so that we could get to the cellar. So I'm going to show you, that is where we remained for a little while. The very next day, the 2 Union soldiers carried me outside and buried me in the backyard. I was eventually moved 3 times until my final resting place, which is 1 block away at Evergreen Cemetery. But I'm going to show you some slides. This is my house. Well, George's house, of course, not my house, but today it's called the Ginny Wade house. This is an older picture of the house. This is a modern day picture of what the house would look like today if you go to visit. This on the very left is my beautiful sister Georgia, who had a long life with her baby Kenneth, and she lived for a long time. The person in the middle is a family friend named Mary Comfort. And then the one on the far with the braids is myself. There is my kitchen. It looks very much today like it did back then, and then you can see the bread and the rolling pin on the table. Here's another view of the kitchen. There is the bed that was brought down for Georgia from the downstairs because she was tending to her infant. There's the cellar where we remained for a couple of days until we knew that the war was finished, or the Battle of Gettysburg was finished. There's a painting of the Union soldiers hanging out with myself and Georgia, and of course I'm the one over here laying down, and that's Georgia and her baby, and there's the brother and the soldiers. Welcome to my house. Well, to my sister's house. Thanks for joining me.